Welcome to part 10 of my Western Roman Empire campaign. The Western Roman Empire has finally managed to end all wars and restore peace to the empire. This is largely thanks to the young Emperor Diodorus II, who despite his young age defeated treacherous vassals and brought the barbarians to their knees one by one. But every great man has a weakness, and so the fate of the empire now lies in the hands of young Octavius. Will he be able to stabilize and protect the empire despite his young age? And so welcome to Crusader Kings 3, The Fallen Eagle. And so another tragedy occurred with the death of Diodorus. He was only 20 years old and had already survived 16 years on the throne, only to have everything fall into chaos again. On top of that, the empire is still in the war of reconquest to restore its former glory. I was really annoyed by this murder, because I'd hoped to keep the empire stable with Diodorus for the time being. With his death, he left his son Octavius as emperor. However, he's only 0 years old and practically useless. I must manage to win the war and keep my vassals calm until he's old enough to influence them. Now it's time for Octavius to prove himself. I started bribing my vassals, and although they didn't hate me, it was difficult for me to raise their opinion significantly. At least they all don't hate me, so guess it's somehow okay. 5 opinion, huh? 5 opinion. 22 opinion. Take that. 5 opinion, that's nothing. Besides, if I wasn't careful, I would get into trouble with the imperial laws again. But since there wasn't much I could do anyway, I decided to win the war as quickly as possible. With the change of rulers, I could no longer use my legions and praetorians. They would only be available, and they would only be I can't speak English anymore. What's happening? They would only be available to me again in 5 years. Fortunately, they were not important for winning.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Fortunately, they were not important for winning the war, but it did not take long for the first factions to form against the young Octavius. Oh, I just won everything. Why? Oh my god, for sure. It was him. Cause he also claimed the title. I just hate this guy. Can I murder him? Oh no, I need to be 14. 14 years. My main problem was that I could hardly do anything to avoid the war. Besides, I had to win my own war first. So I was under time pressure because I wasn't sure if I could win both wars at the same time. I decided to finish the war against the Germans first. Fortunately, I advanced quickly and was able to win the war in my favor. I now tried to form alliances with the strongest vassals through marriages, but unfortunately this did not succeed. My alliances with the Sassanids was also ended by the death of Diodorus, and this time I had no chance of negotiating a new one. Things got really dicey, however, when I noticed that another quite large faction with many powerful vassals had joined forces in the east. Fighting both vassal uprisings at the same time would be a nightmare, especially since I cannot even deploy my Praetorian Guard and my legions in the near future. It's hard enough for me to prevent one uprising. To prevent a second one under these circumstances is almost impossible. As I was not sure what to do now, I took a look at the cultures in my empire. Greek, yeah. Oh, Roman. Nice. Appreciate you boys. But I could not find a solution that would stop my vassals from rebelling. And then the time had come. What? He just gets the whole empire. But when I saw their combined strength, I knew I could do it. For I had expected a much larger army. 6,000! It's nothing. Yet, I could not become overconfident. For if I lose this war, I would also lose the entire Western Empire. Okay. Where should I attack first?
I decided to raise my army in Italy and then occupy the vassal there directly. Just as I was about to put this into action, the tide turned. The second faction had now also risen against me.
Now it's getting interesting.
So now I had to compete against both factions at the same time. I had to hope that I might be able to concentrate on one of the factions first, so I attacked my vassal in Italy as planned. During this, I realized that I could not lose against either faction without having dramatic consequences. My soldiers slowly made progress, and the first cities were conquered. But while the war in the west was going well, I was losing the war in the east even more. I realized that I had to fight on both fronts to win the war, but my army was not big enough for that. At least not without my legions, so I had to stall for time. Fortunately, the economy of the empire is now strong enough to support the army. My idea was to send a small part of the army to the east and at the same time buy mercenaries with my gold to enlarge the army. The army in the west should occupy Italy and Dacia. But you will find out next time whether this plan will work or whether I'm on the verge of collapse and with it the end of the campaign.